South Africa and its creative scene have changed rapidly in the last 10 years. This video essay takes a look at some of what went down and points towards a new decade of creativity. The dynamic 2010s are ending. It's been a golden decade for celebrities, cultural influencers, tech barons, and the super rich.
I speak loudly about anything that I have worked for.
But behind the glamour, there was also rampant economic inequality, online corporate control, and ensuing political hatred inspired real-world racial and xenophobic violence.
I lost the house, I lost my container, I lost everything.
The growing threats of climate collapse, automation, and AI seem to threaten the future, while political scandals and business corruption have made people cynical about this decade.
Was it a democratic country or the ANC?
However, we also saw protest, resistance, and change, and pop culture is our map to this chaotic and overstimulated reality. Its most bold creative voices are challenging social, racial, and sexual constructs, all while pushing the boundaries of art. In 2010, South Africa was the center of global media attention as it hosted the World Cup. And at the same time, local culture inspired a new level of international interest and exposure. Musicians Blackjacks, Mngxitama, and Nonzinja made noise, while fine artists Mary Sebande, Nandi Pamtambo, and Kudzanai Chiwarai hung in galleries worldwide. District 9 was nominated for an Oscar, Trevor Noah dominated local comedy, and back at home, the center of the creative scene shifted from Cape Town to Joburg. On the underground, Geleketla, Cuss Group, and Dirty Paraffin started to make their mark. Cultural spaces 70 Juta and Main Street Life opened, and where some saw urban renewal, others saw gentrification.
Can you give an owner 1 month notice to vacate the building?
It seemed that anything was possible. Despite this optimism, shocking events also revealed the bubbling tensions in South African society. For least we forget, in 2012, the police massacred striking miners in Marokana. The wave of international interest began to crest, and still our local creatives continued to push the boundaries. Spookado and Rude Boys were just some of Durban musicians building the dark and intense sound of Gqom. Gqom would not stay underground for very long. While Faka, Petit Noir, and Moonchild Saneli freely mixed genres, they created a new kind of alternative music which boldly defied categories. South African hip-hop blew up, and innovators like Mashaya Butke paved the way for Anathi and Sjava. Nasty C harnessed the power of social media to become a viral sensation, and MT brought a domestic flair to trap. In the fashion world, designers such as Selfie, Richard Mnisi, and Tebe Magugu reinvigorated the local scene, collapsing gender and historical periods to bring an original new edge to South African fashion.
Shout out to Bubblegum.
While visual artists Bukhosi Sikukuni, Tabitha Rose, and Ntu captured the aesthetics of a post-internet accelerating society. It was a politically chaotic period. In Parliament, controversies around the corruption charges against President Jacob Zuma even broke out into physical altercations. Student-anchored rising costs sparked the huge Fees and Spall movement in late 2015, and the spectacular protests also challenged colonial and patriarchal power systems. Outside of South Africa, Brexit and Donald Trump saw a new kind of aggressive political conservatism garner power.
America is winning again like never before.
As the decade fades into the new, voices are emerging to define the road ahead. They are the first generation to grow up with social media and influencer culture. They approach online spaces with a bold confidence. Collectives like Kop and Onyx fuse events, style, and art. They belong to a rising tide of exciting talent. South African society is undergoing seismic shifts. In the 2019 national elections, the ruling ANC limped to a win and no longer enjoy political hegemony. New conversations around gender and identity are redefining the social imagination, and the youth are asserting an increasingly powerful voice. Rapid change is coming in the 2020s, and these artists are our guides to what's next.